Okay, here we go again. The Potter's Clay brought out a rewarmed version of Antonio's previous claim that it is believed that the shadow of the moon, because of the moon's orbit speed and the rotation of the Earth, should not go from west to east as predicted, and also as with basically every other eclipse in history. Let's examine exactly what it is that he's claiming. First, we have this graphic showing the Earth with the moon really close to it. And here's another one. Neither graphic shows the proper distance of the moon to the Earth, so neither graphic can be used for its intended purpose of showing how the shadow goes across the Earth. But I know where the scale came from. The Discover satellite had that really cool sequence of photos watching the moon pass between the satellite and the Earth. Now I know everybody's going to want to say, oh, well, they're showing it right there. If you would like a better understanding of exactly why it was that scale, please watch Rob Skiba's video titled Rob Skiba Debunks Rob Skiba as to exactly how that scale came about. Both of these graphics seem to think that the edge of the screen is the extent of the width of the orbit of the moon around the Earth, which is obviously not the case. Flat Earthers have a problem with scale, because no matter how many times it's shown to them, they will deliberately decide not to use it. You can show them the measurements, you can show them analogies, or you can show them even accurate drawings. And no, drawings like this, 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 and this are not drawn to scale because they are actually there to show you how shadow works, but nowhere is it ever claimed to be to scale. Now, another thing that Antonio likes to bring up, at least, is the ratio of Earth rotations to one moon orbit. But funny, nobody brings it up in this little demonstration. Or this one. In each one of these, I can see 1/4 of the orbit of the moon in the graphic. Tell you what, let's go ahead and count how many times the Earth rotates in that quarter orbit. And then we'll just multiply by 4. Now that was pretty easy, right? But nobody brought that up as being a problem in the demonstration. Let me tell you why scale matters. Because the Earth can rotate between 1 and 79 times per single moon orbit in proper scale, and the shadow will still go from west to east.
One day, 28 days. 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 One day, 28 days.
And the shadow, relative to the surface of the Earth, is going to go east to west, not west to east.
So, one day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
East to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
east to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
east to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
not west to east. East to west, east to west, east to west, not west to east.
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
East to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
east to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
east to west,
One day, 28 days. One day, 28 days.
not west to east. East to west, east to west, East to west, not west to east.
Now here's something else that was brought up, the timeandday.com shadow map on a Mercator projection. Yeah, it looks kind of wonky, doesn't it? Doesn't look like anything that would match reality, right? And here's the same thing on the sphere from an odd angle. Well, I took that animation and I put it as a mask on a sphere in 3ds Max. And yeah, it looks kind of weird when you have it on a sphere looking at it from a weird angle. However, when you look at it from the angle directly the way the sun would be looking at the Earth, makes all the sense in the world. Honestly, if you were to look closely at the Discover photographs of the Earth-Moon transit, if I were to make the moon just a solid shadow, you will also see that it is also traversing the Earth faster than the Earth's rotation from west to east. So no, there is no problem. Oh, and by the way, there is no third object in the sky, because any kind of a solid object in the sky, which would be large enough to block out the sun, even for that short period of time, would have been noticed as having blocked other stars in the thousands of years that people have been looking up at the stars. They would have noticed that something was missing, or in this case, blocked. By the way, none of the graphics you displayed were meant to show the scale depiction of an eclipse. One that was poorly done, and not by NASA, just explains what an eclipse is. They also received a lot of criticism about the rotation of the Earth in that particular graphic. This still image has never been claimed to be a photo of an eclipse, but yet was used in a documentary and only showed where the moon's shadow was in the eclipse over Mexico in the early 90s. This one was actually done by NASA, but also has nothing to do with a scale depiction of an eclipse, but rather had to do with the various energies that the Earth received. Here's one that also was produced by NASA, but is meant to be a scale depiction of an eclipse. So in short, the claim that was made both by Antonio and Potter's Clay is baseless. Oh, by the way, if you want to see how the eclipse looks on the flat Earth, using the real data and real scales, or at least the scales that are produced by flat earthers, this will be the result of the eclipse in August of 2017. So it seems more like the place to be is not in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, but somewhere down in Chile, because they're going to get the eclipse twice. Y'all have a nice day.
Oh my god.